Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's fantastic today. Oh, there's so much, not so much, but there are things that are picking at my brain on my way home that I wanted to talk about. So, hello, Maggot, hello, Deadarm, and hello, everyone else. Now, as you can see the tell, when you want to be part of our world, what what's the dealio on that? Well, I think a couple of weeks ago, Elon was premiering the Grok AI. This new thing on Twitter, which, by the way, this whole thing with AIs, you have your phones, you have Gemini for Android, you have Siri for Apple, you have ChatGPT, whatever, right? So Elon had created Grok, and Joe was Joe Rogan was, like basically being a shill for Grok, and he's not the type of person that likes it when his friends or I guess shill a product. But he had to keep his mouth shut because it's Elon. So I will play the clip, but I don't want to get copyright because Joe don't like people playing the clips. So I have to paraphrase it. So he was talking about, asking Elon, have you ever heard of avatar depression? And you're like, what is that? And instead of like trying to do normal research on what avatar depression is, Elon goes to Grok AI, asks what avatar depression is, and Elon basically Elon and the Grok AI was like, Joe's being stupid. There's no such thing as avatar depression. No, here's the thing. Back in 2009, early 2010, with the first Avatar movie, where everyone was like, "Wow, this is beautiful. This is gorgeous," and people wanted to live in our world. People were depressed that they couldn't live in our world because it was something that doesn't equate to their real life. I watched Avatar in IMAX. Beautiful piece. Granted, it as South Park would spoof it to be Dances with Smurfs. That's all Avatar was. Dances with Smurfs. But it was beautiful. It was well shot. Like, it was plagiarism at its highest level. People did not give a fuck about it. So, I asked myself, what made Avatar so great that people want to go away from it? Granted, I believe there are other movies. I believe there were other movies that predate this, where people are like, I wish I could be in this. Jurassic Park. You tell me you want to live in a world where dinosaurs are real, not real, that came back, and you could go visit them, and you could feed them snacks and stuff. Won't that be grand? Okay. Now, granted, it's a theme park in our world, but you get what I'm trying to say. The idea, the imagination of having uh a world that exists like that would be great. Total Recall, the original Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. The idea of going into a machine and living out your wild fantasies, and which is closer to reality than we get to. My whole thing is what will happen when we get a step closer to creating virtual reality? A virtual reality that doesn't require clunky headsets. Something akin to the hyperdeck. I think it's called the hyperdeck in Star Wars: A Next Generation, or the holodeck. Excuse me, holodeck. Because like if people were so engrossed in Avatar sickness or Avatar depression, and that was back in 2010, I could only imagine how people would feel if it's Avatar depression. Let's see if we could. No, we're not doing all that. Okay.
Can you tell me about Avatar depression? Like if you see the movie Avatar.
By the way, I'm going to play the clip. Uh, People, let me know if the thing cuts out. Let me know. Okay. Because I want to play the Elon clip where he goes to Grok and he says,
But you can't live there, so you get sad.
That's an interesting concept. Have you ever experienced feeling so connected to a place or a community that the thought of leaving made you feel deeply sad?
So is this the depressed voice?
This is the therapist.
Oh, this is the therapist.
granted, Joe doesn't like the fact that the fact that Joe had to sit there while Elon was chilling for Grok was amazing, was funny as fuck. But like, if if you are so, if your mindset is so wonky, that movie and its world is so appetizing, then it shows that something is not broken about you, but it seems like your view of the world is skewed. Like you feel as though like this world is like, it feels like something akin to body dysmorphia a bit. But instead of yourself feeling like you don't belong in your own body, you feel as though like you don't belong to the world itself. And to be quite honest, I am surprised that isn't a thing. Like you got a sliver of that stuff. Now, with the Avatar movies, I was surprised when Avatar 2 came out. I was surprised there wasn't an uptick of, you know, people feeling they don't belong in the world, they belong in Avatar and whatnot. I'm surprised about that. Because people will say and do stupid things because of trends and stuff. But but the question remains is, what would be your ideal world? Like what would you constitute something to be important to you that makes you feel comfortable? Is it, besides being rich, being comfortable, like what, like does it have to be like no crime? Does it have to be a particular color? Does it have to be a particular fidelity? Like what is it? What makes the what will make you happy in your own plane of existence? Um like I feel as though if humans did have the wherewithal to had the capacity to go and to other worlds, like go to Mars or go to even the moon itself, would that make people happy? Would you get homesick? Would the prospect of you going to another planet and it being a one-way ticket, you can never come back, would the prospect of you going to another planet, if you're so unhappy with the way Earth is, can you accept it? And the other complex question is, if humans do go to another planet, will they change things? Will they change how they look differently? Or how they act and rule differently from Earth? Or will it be the same thing because they're so comfortable with stuff? Like, that's the whole thing. Like, if you're uncomfortable with who you are, you gotta change it for what it is. But if you're gonna go back to what makes you feel comfortable, then nothing's changed. You just have a new scenery and you just want to be different. You want to be special. Look, I would not. The greatest money making idea is have a virtual reality of Avatar. Bring back Avatar, right? Have it in Disney or something. Let people go there as a resort. Fucking Disney has buku money, has a lot of fucking money to do that type of thing where you create a fucking hyper realistic version of that place, right? And then you see if people will take to the new environment. And I have many questions about this. The other question is, let's just say somehow, someway you were given the opportunity to be part of Pandora. Are you gonna get? Are you gonna be infatuated with it for the rest of your time, or are you gonna get bored within the week, saying, "I saw everything, I did everything. Let me go away. Let me go home. Let me do whatever the case is." You know, because again, when it comes to this this whole Avatar forlorn thing. People could say shit. People could be like, "Oh, I want to be in that world." Okay, if I give it to you, are you gonna be happy with it, or are you gonna fucking complain like all humans fucking do? I Humans are so fucked in the head that if you give humans utopia, like if there was an island that could hold maybe 10,000 people, right? And on that fucking island, there is free healthcare, free food. No one has to work. Everything is like tilled with fucking robotics. Everything, right? With the most perfect of scenarios, that that piece of Earth will always be a balmy 70 degrees. There is no winter, no hurricanes, no nothing. In this hypothetical situation, people are gonna get fucking bored. People will cause shit just for it there to be something to do. No one likes to be happy. No one likes the ideal world. There would always be people be bored with. People will be bored with perfection. That's how fucked it is. in those people's eyes back in late '09, early 10s, they look at that movie, to them it's perfection, but if you give perfection, they don't want fucking perfection. People will complain about everything. It is why, when I look at scientific theory videos, where there's something called a galactic power scale, right? And what that means is how does a civilization get its power from, and what does it mean when it gets its power? Level 0 is us, where we get uh fossil fuels and whatnot. Level 1 would be the sun, solar energy or whatnot. Level 2 would be literally harvesting the sun, like we harvest fucking plants and stuff like that. Then harvesting harvesting stars, galaxies, whatnot. You get to that point, and to go to the most extreme of circumstances of this power scales, like you get to a point where humans or civilization gets total autonomy of multiverses and fucking knowledge and everything. Like they become one single consciousness. The reason I bring this up is because I cannot imagine humans getting to that point of evolution, of a galactic evolution. Because we're pieces of shit. Through and through. We're pieces of shit here. Imagine us getting to the point where energy is not a fucking issue. Where all our needs are met. Where we became so hyper fucking intelligent that fucking nothing in the universe can fuck with us. Give that type of intelligence, that ability, that awareness. Give that to human beings, ladies and gentlemen. That's very dangerous. We'll end up destroying things more than create things. It's it's always something. It's always something with that. Cause people want things, but they don't know how to appreciate the fucking thing. Let me read this. Disney does have an Avatar ride like that. Yeah, I'm not talking about Avatar ride. Literally talking about a fucking thing where it's like a fucking huge park, holograms, mad advanced stuff. But also, Avatar makes people depressed because of environmental stuff too. Avatar for some mirror issues in now current reality. Isn't this that theory by a Russian guy from the '70s that's been widely debunked? Like I said, it's a funny theory. It cannot be debunked because nothing is legitimately you know what? Hold on. Because I want people to understand this. Galactic power scale. Let me see if I can find it. No, not this. What is it? Civilization scale. There you go. Is it this one? Oh, there you go.
Did you know you could block annoying ads like this
Oh,
from
fuck
interrupting
you.
your videos? And it only takes a few seconds. Let me lay it out for you. Pi is a free extension.
You know how I could do it, ladies and gentlemen? By just fucking whatchamacallit, by refreshing the fucking page. Anyways, I want you guys to look at this. Stop up. I don't care about you. Here you go. Fuck you.
One civilization on the Kardashev scale is one that has achieved complete control over the energy resources of its home planet. This means it can harness all available energy from sources like the sun, wind,
Mind you, this is a theory. This is not legitimately. This is something that cannot be proven. I just want to make that point clear.
geothermal, and nuclear power to meet its needs. A Type 1 civilization might also have the technology to control and manage the planet's weather. This could include preventing natural disasters like hurricanes or controlling rainfall to eliminate droughts. Currently, humanity is not yet a Type 1 civilization, but we're steadily moving in that direction. Philip Metzger, a planetary scientist and co-founder of the Space Resources Program, predicts that nuclear and renewable energy alone won't be enough to power Earth as coal and oil run out. He suggests that humanity needs to start a 100-year project to develop spacecraft and mining operations in space, like on asteroids or the moon, to bring essential materials back to Earth. However, one of the few solutions we have left before harvesting resources from outer space is developing and safely utilizing nuclear fusion, as it offers a nearly limitless source of clean energy. Achieving a Type 1 civilization would require a high degree of global cooperation, a foundation our civilization has already laid through the internet. This intercontinental communication network facilitates the widespread sharing of knowledge and accelerates technological advancement on a global scale. However, the transition to a Type 1 civilization comes with significant risks. Environmentally, the rapid industrialization required could worsen climate change if not carefully managed. There's also the danger of depleting Earth's resources if we don't balance our consumption. Moreover, competition for control over these resources could create geopolitical tensions. Developing nuclear fusion also carries the risk of causing catastrophic damage if not handled properly. The risk of easier access to the development of weapons of mass destruction with the advancement of technology, which leads to a need for diversification between planets if the human race wants to keep existing. In a Type 1 civilization, energy would be plentiful, likely becoming either very inexpensive or even free, making it accessible to everyone. The environment would benefit from reduced pollution due to the heavy reliance on renewable energy sources. Cities would be smart.
So far, so I fucked up on the description, but I was kind of right about what the power scaling is. But, like, this takes mad cooperation. This would take people to behave themselves, work together to create this. This could be possible if we behave ourselves. Okay? But no, we're arguing about if we landed on the moon. Or arguing about fucking if there's a fucking structures on the dark side of the moon. Like we can't even agree upon if we landed on the moon. How can we do this? But this idea is close to utopia as possibly can. I said this a while back. Could this be possible? Yes. Is it feasible? Yes. Could it happen? It would take so much cooperation, like immense cooperation, for this to happen. But let's continue. Because this all ties into, you want to be part of this world. Do you want to be part of this world? A lot of people will say yes. Yeah, Type 1 civilization, limitless resources, not have to worry about energy and heat and whatnot. Of course, sign you up. But can y'all behave yourself? That is a $64,000 question.
Smart and efficient, with automated systems managing everything from traffic to energy usage. Communication would be instant and seamless worldwide, with advanced technologies like quantum internet becoming the norm. With global communication networks and advanced technology, a Type 1 civilization might also see the development of a universal language or real-time translation devices, effectively eliminating language barriers worldwide. Moreover, space exploration would likely expand significantly. We could support large-scale space missions, even potentially colonizing nearby planets or moons. Technologies such as space-based solar power stations could further extend our energy reach beyond Earth. Work would become more specialized, and many generic jobs might be automated. Over time, as we become more connected and share resources more effectively, we could see the emergence of a more unified global culture instead of smaller pockets of different cultures, as we have right now. Type 2. A Type 2 or solar civilization on the Kardashev scale is one that is capable of star lifting, a theoretical concept in which a civilization is able to harness and utilize the total energy output of its star, such as our sun, instead of relying solely on the energy that naturally reaches their planet and their natural resources, as they would not be.
If you ever watched that a movie Sunshine, was it Sunshine? I think it was Sunshine, where basically people had to restart the sun because it was going to be dead. Which it's kind of like this idea. So this right here would allow us to go farther into space. This is where things get a little spicy. Again, the Type 1 stuff is possible. Requires immense cooperation and cannot trust enough. Right. This could be our Pandora if we work together. That's the crazy thing. We could have Pandora. But whatever. But you'll see gradually as we go on this scale, it becomes interesting how far we can go as a species. But you realize what this will do if people have this type of dominance over, the natural space.
Enough to fuel further developments in technology and science. One of the most famous concepts associated with reaching a Type 2 civilization is the Dyson sphere, proposed by theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson in 1960. This hypothetical megastructure would be built around a star to capture most or all of its energy output. And while a solid shell is a popular science fiction idea, a more practical approach would likely involve a Dyson swarm, a collection of solar-collecting satellites orbiting the star. With this energy, a Type 2 civilization could power massive industrial projects, support extremely large populations, and even begin large-scale space colonization across their solar system. In such a civilization, everyday life would be transformed. For instance, interplanetary travel might be as routine as air travel is for us, enabling people to live on different planets or in massive space habitats. People would live in O'Neill cylinders, a rotating space habitat that could house millions of people and create Earth-like environments in space. They might also use stellar engineering, the theoretical manipulation of a star's properties, such as altering the orbits of planets to optimize their solar system for human use, mine asteroids on an enormous scale, or extract resources from gas giants. Another intriguing possibility is that they could create artificial stars or smaller, controlled fusion reactors that mimic the processes of their star, providing even more energy. It is also interesting to consider the Great Filter theory when considering the leap to a Type 2 civilization. The Great Filter is a concept in the search for extraterrestrial life that suggests there might be a stage in the development of civilizations that is extremely difficult to overcome, hence why we haven't been able to contact any type of intergalactic civilization despite the largeness of the universe and the high probability of the existence of extraterrestrial life. This filter could lie behind us, meaning that humanity has already surpassed the hardest part of becoming advanced. Or it could be ahead of us, indicating that reaching a Type 2 civilization might be incredibly challenging or even impossible. Type 3. A Type 3 or galactic civilization on the Kardashev scale is one that can harness and control the energy output of an entire galaxy. This civilization would be able to utilize the energy from billions of stars, potentially even tapping into the energy of black holes or other cosmic phenomena to fuel their industrial necessities. One of the key concepts associated with a Type 3 civilization is galactic scale engineering, the theoretical concept of manipulating or constructing megastructures across an entire galaxy. This could involve creating massive structures, like a Dyson sphere around multiple stars, or even entire star systems. The civilization might also build stellar engines, devices capable of moving stars or altering their energy output. With this vast amount of energy, a Type 3 civilization could power technologies that are beyond our current imagination, such as wormholes for faster-than-light travel or planet-sized computers capable of simulating entire universes. Moreover, a Type 3 civilization could harness the rotational energy of a black hole through a process known as the Penrose process, a theoretical method to extract energy from a rotating black hole by sending objects into its ergosphere, where they split, and part of their energy is captured or utilize Hawking radiation, the theoretical radiation emitted by black holes due to quantum effects, leading to their gradual evaporation over time as a power source. Another interesting concept to have in mind when imagining a Type 3 civilization is the Matryoshka brain, a theoretical megastructure composed of multiple layers of Dyson spheres around a star. Each layer would harness the star's energy to power immense computational systems, effectively turning the star into a galaxy-spanning supercomputer. It's a powerful blend of galactic-scale engineering.
It is getting to this point would be extreme. If civilization was to get to this point, folks, the idea of having avatar depression would be laughable. Because you're living in this type of world. The concept of harvesting the whole galaxy, and having supercomputers that could allow you to translate alien languages, maybe learn about the universal secrets, understanding everything. Actually being able to know about getting the full grasp of physics, infinity, origins, power, efficiency, life, death, what have you. Our whole idea of being being immortal, or knowing which religions are right or not, like these things, this is the utopia, the theoretical utopia that it's possible. Maybe not in this lifetime, but many lifetimes over. And the more you get into the scale, the more it becomes, the concepts become so immense. The possibility of it is limitless. And it begs to question, if, let's just say, in other galaxies, in other parts of the universe, would there be a possibility that there would be Type 2, Type 3 civilizations? And we don't know about them yet because maybe they blocked off communication? Or maybe they don't care and we're way too far off to see the effects? Because remember, light travels 60. I forgot what the speed of light. I forgot what the speed of light number is. But quickly to say, the farther you go the farther away you leave Earth, right? You will actually see different viewpoints of Earth. So, like, if you travel 65 million miles away from Earth, I'm sorry, 65 million light years away, I believe, and you were to look at the Earth, you can actually see dinosaurs, because it's how light is. So, like, the reverse happens. What astronauts see in the night sky is just a picture of things that happened many, many moons ago. It's not an instantaneous picture of other galaxies. We have instantaneous stuff of the solar system, just the solar system, not the galaxy. So I just personally wondered to myself, is there is there a civilization that's at this point? And if so, would they be friendly? Would it be warlike? Would it be human? Which, if they're human tendencies, then we're fucked. They never found us. But let's continue.
engineering, and the ultimate fusion of technology and consciousness. In such a civilization, intergalactic travel might be as routine as interplanetary travel is for a Type 2 civilization. People could live on massive space stations or Dyson shells around different stars, and even in artificial worlds created to simulate any environment they desire. Resources would be practically limitless, and the civilization could undertake galactic-scale projects, like restructuring entire solar systems or terraforming planets across the galaxy. A Type 3 civilization would also likely have developed advanced AI systems capable of managing entire star systems or even galaxies. These AI systems could help in terraforming planets, maintaining Dyson swarms, and optimizing resource extraction across the galaxy. Post-biological life might also emerge, where consciousness could be transferred to machines or digital environments, allowing individuals to exist in a wide variety of forms or even spread their consciousness across the galaxy. Type 4. A Type 4 or universal civilization on the Kardashev scale would have the capability to harness and control energy at the scale of the entire universe. This means they could tap into the energy of not just galaxies, but the fundamental forces of the universe itself, including dark matter and dark energy. Such a civilization could manipulate cosmic phenomena on an unprecedented scale, potentially controlling black holes, supernovae, and even altering the fabric of spacetime. One intriguing concept is universal-scale engineering, where this civilization might create or destroy galaxies, build megastructures that span multiple star systems, or even design entire artificial universes. They could also utilize von Neumann probes, self-replicating machines that spread throughout the cosmos, harvesting resources and converting them into usable energy or infrastructure. Another fascinating theory is that a Type 4 civilization might achieve quantum control over the universe, manipulating the quantum fields that underpin reality. This could allow them to alter physical laws, create stable wormholes for instant travel across the universe, or even access other dimensions. They might also harness exotic energy sources, like the energy from black hole evaporation, or the vast stores of energy in the cosmic microwave background radiation. A Type 4 civilization might engage in cosmic-scale communication. Instead of using radio waves or light, they could utilize gravitational waves or neutrinos to send messages across the universe, or even employ quantum entanglement for instant communication over vast distances. Additionally, some theories suggest that a Type 4 civilization could attempt to reverse entropy, effectively fighting the natural progression of the universe towards disorder. By harnessing incredible amounts of energy, they might be able to maintain structures and systems indefinitely, potentially achieving a form of immortality for themselves or their creations. In terms of existence, a Type 4 civilization could transcend physical forms altogether. They might exist as pure energy or information, able to move freely through space and time. Their consciousness could be spread across galaxies, existing simultaneously in multiple locations or dimensions. This civilization might also be capable of creating simulations of entire realities, where they could explore different possibilities of existence or even create new forms of life. Type 5. A Type 5 or multiversal civilization on the Kardashev scale would have the ability to harness and control energy on a scale beyond the entire universe, potentially influencing multiple universes or dimensions. This level of civilization could manipulate not just physical laws, but also the fundamental structure of reality itself. For a Type 5 civilization, white holes could present an extraordinary opportunity for cosmic-scale manipulation. These theoretical objects, which expel matter and energy instead of consuming them like black holes, could be harnessed to generate immense amounts of energy or create new cosmic structures. A Type 5 civilization might use white holes to continuously feed matter into their realm, aiding in the creation of new galaxies or replenishing resources on a grand scale. Additionally, if white holes are connected to black holes via wormholes, they could serve as a gateway for matter and energy to travel across different regions of the universe or even between multiple universes. One intriguing concept associated with a Type 5 civilization is multiverse engineering. They might possess the capability to create, manipulate, or travel between multiple universes, each with different physical laws or constants. This could involve constructing bubble universes within a larger multiverse, where each bubble has its own distinct set of properties and rules. Another fascinating idea is quantum reality manipulation, where a Type 5 civilization could control quantum fields and dimensions to an extent that allows them to alter or create entire realities. They might develop cosmic algorithms that govern.
And you would figure this idea, even though it's a strong theory, is if this was put into a movie and you were to show this as a display of what the possibility is of a civilization, it could do one or two things. It could either inspire a new generation of people to, get into science, literature, whatnot, and try to jumpstart this idea of at least us getting to a Type 1 civilization, therefore creating our own little Pandora nest egg. Or B, people will get super duper depressed and they just want it right away without any work. Which again, can't happen because you need to be able to actually engineer things to get it going. Like, nothing happens without work. Hell, at this point, we should be able to have the capability of dealing with space threats like asteroids and whatnot. But we can barely take care of ourselves. But I feel as though when it comes to these concepts, like at this point, like I feel like a Type 1 civilization for us would be like kindergarten. Type 2 would be you are early teenagers. 3 would be young adult. 4 would be you have a career, you're stable, whatnot. 6 would be having a family. 5 would be having a family. Now 6 and 7, I don't know if I think he might go over 6 and 7. 6 and 7 is like beyond amazing. And I think 6 and 7 feeds into this extraordinary concept called the simulation theory, which people assume we're living in a simulation and stuff like that. Many philosophers and wacky people assume we live in a simulation. So if there was the 6th and 7th scale I'm sorry, the 6th and 7th type on this scale could lend credence to simulation theory if it is to be true.
Or modify the fundamental nature of spacetime, potentially reshaping entire universes or even creating new ones. Hyperdimensional travel might also be possible, where this civilization could move between different dimensions or planes of existence beyond the 3 spatial dimensions and time we experience. This would allow them to explore or exploit realms of existence that are entirely outside our current understanding. Additionally, a Type 5 civilization could harness transcendent energy sources, such as the energy from cosmic strings or the remnants of the Big Bang, which are theorized to exist at the boundaries of our understanding of the universe. They might also develop technologies to influence the fundamental constants of nature, such as the speed of light or gravitational forces, giving them control over the very fabric of reality. This level of advancement would imply that a Type 5 civilization could potentially have unlimited creative power, shaping not only their own universe, but multiple universes or dimensions. Type 6. A Type 6 or multidimensional civilization on the Kardashev scale would wield the power to control and manipulate entire multiverses, far beyond the scope of a single universe. One intriguing concept is multiversal synthesis, where this civilization could create and fuse multiple universes to form complex new realities with brand new physical laws and constants. This could involve engineering diverse cosmic structures and experimenting with different fundamental forces to observe or utilize various forms of existence. Additionally, a Type 6 civilization might engage in cosmic harmonization, aligning the physical laws and constants across multiple universes to create a synchronized cosmic network. This could involve tuning the interaction between different universes to achieve large-scale phenomena or control multiversal-scale events with precision. Another captivating theory is cosmic resurrection, where they could revive or regenerate universes that have ceased to exist by harnessing residual energies from collapsed or extinct universes. This could allow them to restore or evolve entire cosmic systems, potentially guiding the rebirth of dead or dying universes into new forms. A Type 6 civilization could also explore temporal manipulation on a multiversal scale, controlling or altering the flow of time across different universes. They might be able to engineer time loops, synchronize temporal events across universes, or even create new dimensions of time that operate independently of conventional temporal laws. Moreover, they might master trans-universal communication, using advanced methods to send information or influence across different universes simultaneously. This could involve utilizing quantum entanglement across the multiverse, or developing entirely new forms of communication that transcend the traditional boundaries of spacetime. Type 7. A Type 7 civilization on the Kardashev scale represents a level of advancement where the distinction between civilization and existence itself becomes indistinguishable. At this stage, the civilization's control and influence extend beyond the scale of all possible universes and multiverses. It encompasses the very nature of reality and existence. Transitioning from a Type 6 to a Type 7 civilization is considered impossible or nonsensical because Type 7 represents a state where the civilization is not merely manipulating or controlling multiple realities, but has become the ultimate foundation and structure of existence itself. In this context, a Type 7 civilization is not just a master of all universes and multiverses, but rather the embodiment of the principles and forces that underlie all of reality. They would not be operating within or on top of a reality. Instead, they would be part of the fundamental reality that defines and creates all possible forms of existence. Because of this, a Type 7 civilization is defined more by its nature than by its technology or methods. It would transcend all conventional notions of physical or metaphysical capabilities, existing beyond the concept of civilization as we understand it. Therefore, discussing advancements or transitions beyond Type 7 becomes irrelevant because such a civilization would effectively be synonymous with the totality of existence, making the concept of further progression meaningless. If you want to discuss this video or suggest an idea for the next one,
I'm gonna give that a subscribe. That shit was fascinating. I love it. It's so cool to have theories like that. I feel as though a lot of people were like, why? People, I think people were kind of expecting me to like go mad drama, and I'm like, I like it. I find it enjoyable. It's nice to get a little palate cleanse. That's not Boogie 2988 talk about slurs and stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's just you want to be where the people are, and like you can build that. You can't have that. We can have that. It just you just gotta work for it. Um, but I feel as though like if let's just say we get to that first stage, we'll be okay. There won't people will behave themselves. You know. But when you get to Type 2, where you harness suns and in solar systems, at that point, you allowing human greed is something else. Building other stations in communities on other planets. Heck, we haven't even touched upon. See, I feel as though people know. I feel as though people's understanding of other worlds is very limited. Like I feel as though like it's tangible to talk about just Mars or Pluto or hell, there had been other places. Like I find it weird that there were some sci-fi novels and movies that speak about us, terraforming Venus and Mercury, which is like why it's hot as AF. Why deal with that? You might as well deal with Pluto or fucking Saturn or whatnot. But I feel as though like people only think Mars is the end all be all. to true expansion of human advancement in space. My thing is that, one second, my thing is 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 that, I'm sorry, because I fucked up the words. Why don't, like, even though this idea is very amazing, uh us trying to get energy to be practically unlimitless, and for us to like harness a lot of things because we're good at harvesting stuff. Like, I would like to see in my lifetime us actually, you know, a remake of us going on the moon. We do so many remakes of things, like people remake games, remaster movies, remaster music. Remake we remake things that are already amazing. And just sell it as new. Nintendo is notorious for that stuff. So why can't we just redo our other achievements? Landing on the moon, or building the Great Pyramids of Giza. Like, why can't we do a remix of those fucking achievements? I mean, until we because here's the thing. What the moon landing should have done, it should inspire people to want to go further into space. But for some weird reason, like, we landed on the moon a couple of times, and then we stopped going on the moon because I think money or whatnot. But then, like, we wasted our time going to the International Space Station. Then you do, and then you have the engaging in the research. Cool, cool, cool. It just it just it just that after all of that, it's like we more focus on the International Space Station and whatnot. So it would be cool if we are able to get that going, and also do the, like, try to figure out like, I love how something as ancient as the pyramids is so befuddling to people. Like, I have high hopes for humans as a species, as and we are capable of great things. I just find that we are very lazy. We're very faith based, and I feel so like, sure, we're able to harness AI, and that's great. But like with any new toy, AI is just something that people fall back on. Like, people have made arguments and small commentary about AI being being used for artwork. Like, I hate to be that guy, and I know people would be like, "Oh, Huggy, why are you being so mean?" On this particular subject. Let's be quite honest with ourselves here. Let's look each other in the fucking eye and in the heart, and ask ourselves this. If you are out here making a project and you need a thumbnail, right? And you don't know nobody, personally, you don't know nobody, wouldn't it be just easy just to make something through AI rather than paying someone you don't know to make something? The chances are they'll just use AI lazily, and then you'd be at $20, $30 just for something that you could make for free, or maybe cheaper than that. Granted, there's nothing wrong with AI art as a premise. Sure, I understand that. Oh, what about the art, guys? You're killing our you're killing the industry of beautiful artwork. No, I'm not. No, no, it isn't, because there have been instances. It's not the whole crop of artists. It's just a few bad apples, but there have been instances where people ask for art and they never get the art. Well, the problem is that the art is backlogged with so many other commissions and whatnot, and you never get the stuff that you need on time. So instead, like either you gotta find someone you know and trust that you're comfortable giving the money to, right? Because you know for a fact that you understand their situation, you know what the timeline is on the thumbnail, so you don't have to be pressuring them. Or, you just have to pray to God Himself that the money you give is not being swindled from you and the artwork is actually decent. AI has made people lazy. AI also steals art. People, like I said, people don't give a fuck. People will, like, oh, you need me to make a thumbnail of a fucking bear shitting in the woods, and they're just praying through the prompt and just give it to you like they made it themselves. And they could be like, do this in this art style and whatnot, and people will take it. People will pay money for you to write a few things in the prompt to get what they want. And this is a small, very small microcosm of giving humans. It's like giving a mouse a cookie and the things that will lead into. You give humans a slight advancement in technology where people went from phones to beepers. I'm sorry, I take that back. Went from telephones, right, to payphones, to beepers, to bulky cell phones, to smaller cell phones, to sleek cell phones, now to the point that we get bendable cell phones with cameras and music and whatnot. Now you have it to where your phones can actually become like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where you press and hold a button and you ask them anything you need, you get the answer right away. The idea of Siri was like a was like a novel idea at the time. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry phone can do that. And do people use it to learn about stuff? No. People just use it to find out what the weather is and where to go for directions, and to ask about the score. Like, people are so lazy that they don't even want to Google score of Yankee game, score for Met game, score for this, score for that. No, like, people would just want someone else to tell them what to do. So again, I feel as though that this whole idea of avatar depression, though I can understand where it comes from, is it's crazy because we could have that, we can have that, but people don't want to cooperate. People want to be greedy, and people are lazy. Okay? Nothing happens for free. Nothing in life is easy. Okay? And I guess, with future advancements of AI and graphics and whatnot come to the forefront, less and less people are going to be impressed with it, and more people will, in people's imaginations, which in my personal opinion in those early 2000s was at its highest, because we weren't too much of a slave to technology. I don't think so. There wasn't much social media. Social media wasn't that prevalent at the time. Not as it is now. But I feel as though that even in the early times where you had imagination and it captured people's views on it, now we got to a point where imagination is shriveled. It it has been passe. No one daydreams anymore. Everyone wants to be stuck on their phone. They want a prompt to be create, or they create a prompt for the ideal world instead of trying to like bring it to life. So that's how I see it. I hope you guys enjoy this Magic School Bus esque romp into theories, kookiness, calling out craziness, whatnot. I don't know if I'll be streaming later on tonight, tomorrow, whatnot. Not sure. Uh, shows anyone here thinks they will care people to develop new mental disorders? Not sure. I'm not sure about that. Nothing would surprise me. Nothing would surprise me on that. But but folks, you guys have been a pleasure. For everyone that's been here, it's a pleasure. So like I said, please like, share, subscribe. There's super things. There's super chats. There's memberships. Um, I won't show too much about the memberships. I will say that if there are more members, if more people get memberships, there'll be more emotes that come about, and if there's a chance to get more emotes, then I will do my best to fulfill those emote ideas for y'all to make it fun and exciting, making a magical world and stuff. But, and that being said, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.